Hi guys, David here from Celtic Barks. So, you've seen those two little video clips at the beginning, and that was my example of showing you a behaviour called charging. Okay, so that's a behaviour that I hear a lot about in our group. So for those who aren't, come over to Staffie Training Help on Facebook and join our group there. But that is a common thing that I see come up with potential customers and people within the group in relates to charging. Okay, so as you can see from those two video clips, both persons are holding the collar of that dog, albeit not a Staffie, but it's there for the example. They're holding the collar of that dog, getting them excited, getting them aroused, starting to get their impulse working so that they know they are in super arousal mode and overstimulated when they let go of that collar, thus getting the reward that they want, i.e. chasing that person down, doing that bite work and grabbing hold of that person, which is exactly what they want for that. We have to flip reverse that and use it on the same context with our Staffies, and as you can imagine, that's where problems are going to come. Okay, so the common things that I see is, oh, my puppy was biting or nipping as they do, especially being terrier puppies, and I've grabbed them by the collar and they've made that snap reaction of turning around to try and grab my hand. I think my dog may have signs of aggression. Okay, that is one of the most common ones I've seen. Other things are, he was just being generally naughty, up on the sofa, I've gone to move him and he's sort of gone for my hand. Again, it's linked to this charging of the collar, okay? What we have to remember is, if we're applying any tension to that collar and creating charging, it's more often than not going to have a negative effect. So think of the scenarios where that could potentially apply, and you may start to identify that is why you are getting issues in certain areas. Certainly with dog reactivity and lead walking. I know there'll be people watching this thinking exactly down the same realms. I'm potentially charging my dog in both of those situations. Both of those situations then almost become a negative, which is where you may be struggling with the lead walking side of it and with the dog reactivity. Okay, so there's two ways we want to tackle this. First and foremost, I would think down the realms of using a harness. Okay, not so much for your lead walking, but I'm on about more within the house where we need to get hands on with bad behaviour. Okay. What I would suggest is have the harness on, so at least you can either clip a lead to it. So if they need to come down on off that sofa, or there's a general little bit of undesirable behaviour, we can guide them into their crate in a positive way. We can bring them down off the sofa. We can lead them away from children. We want to refrain from ever grabbing them by the collar and pulling them around, because it's not nice. If someone was to grip us by the collar and pull us around everywhere, we would quickly want them off of us in the quickest way possible, and that's all they're doing. It's not a comfortable feeling for them to have that lack of control and be pulled around every which way. Okay, so first and foremost, try and implement a harness which gives you control of their body, or we can clip a lead too, but we can grab the harness worst case scenario. The other thing we can do is start to desensitize to the touching of that collar, and this can be done in lots of small little increments where we just build up a positive association with us touching that collar. So all this needs to consist of is we have our dog sat down in a nice calm environment with a lot of tasty treats, and all we do to start with is we just touch that collar quickly and we give a treat, click if you're using a clicker, reward, good, praise, and really ramp that experience up. Okay, then all we're going to do is, as they progress and they get less and less reactive to that collar touch, we're just going to hold it there for a couple of extra seconds and we take it away. During this time, we're still going to praise. Good boy, good girl, treat, high value reward, all that good stuff. Lots of praise. And we're just going to build up to it. Gradually holding that hand on there, okay? Once we're getting into the remits of around 10 or 20 seconds on a collar touch with periodic praise and reward, whilst doing so, then we can start going more into collar grabbing, okay? So that's just quickly wrapping our hand around the collar, letting go very quickly, 1 or 2 seconds, praise, reward, build that time up like you did the collar touch, okay? Then we can add in outside stimulus as well. So when you're doing recall, for anyone who has gone through recall training with me, watched any of the recall webinars we've done, you will see that I love stitching a behaviour to the end of the recall because it keeps it nice and strict. So we're bringing them into a sit, they're sitting on our feet, all that good stuff. What you can start to do is start adding in collar grabs. So when they come into your feet and they're in that sit, you hold them by the collar, give them that praise, give them the reward, and then before you release them, you can let go of that collar. So we build that up in the house and we transpire that through, because if you were in a recall situation where you have seen an off-lead dog running over and you need instant control of your dog, the very last thing that you want to happen is that you recall your dog, put them into a sit, go to grab the collar, and that's the first time you've ever had to grab it. They are going to react negatively because you're going to start charging them and they become overstimulated because they don't like the feeling. But now it's exacerbated by the fact you now have an off-lead dog coming over as well. If that off-lead dog is not used to being grabbed by the collar and you do manage to grab it, you have then got two dogs that you are trying to separate and keep control of during the collar. Where at least if yours is calm, you can grab by the collar long enough to just clip a lead on, yours is fully under control, and then we can deal with it. Okay, it's friendly crew who let their dog run over to everyone with zero fucking recall. We've all met them. We'll all carry on to meet them. And unfortunately, it's probably going to persist for a long time yet because no one takes it seriously unless it's a certain breed, as we know. But that's just a little bit from me, guys, on charging. Think of it down the realms of your lead walking as well. As I said, there'll be people watching this going, yep, that is why my lead walking is getting worse because of that pulling on the collar. If you need to, switch to a harness, still use the collar, double-ended lead to the collar and the front clip instead, not the back clip. Alleviate that tension. That is a brief mention on lead walking. If you come over to Staffie Training Help, we have lead walking webinars and everything. We are launching our portal soon at the end of January. It's going to be a small monthly subscription with a lot of content and group Zooms with me to help with your training. So get on top of it, guys, and get over to Staffie Training Help. Listen to what I've said about the charging, take it on board, try and implement different structures in regards to dealing with undesirable behaviour, lead walking, reactivity, to refrain from charging, and hopefully you should see a positive result. As always, guys, keep that positivity for the breed. Team Staffie, that's what we're there for. Use your training and how good and well behaved your Staffies are to shut those people up who have got that negative stigma about the breed. We are making changes. Carry on doing as you're doing, guys. If you need my help, you know where I am. Laters.